Good afternoon and welcome to the session for equity, particularly on the transaction on equity and preparing report, which is important on this chapter or in this module. Okay, so in companies or corporations, which is separated or created by law, it has what we call separate legal personality, in which case the transaction that they're doing is recorded on their account, and it is a distinct transaction. It will be distinct transaction between within the corporation, and any transaction which is incurred by the owner will be of course accounted as if it is an investment or withdrawal. Other than that, it can be also loan to owners or loan provided by the owners of the company, but again, it's a distinct entity which can conduct its own business. Okay, and features about that, I think you have that in your company law session. More separated by separate legal entity. Limited liability because generally creditors cannot go directly to the owners when the company assets are not enough. Okay, generally, but there are some exceptions. Of course, you have to discuss that, or you will be able to discuss that in company law. Transferable rights or ownership rights through shares. If someone wants to be an owner, they just have to buy a share of the company, or if they want to transfer that ownership, they can just sell the shares. Right? And of course, there are directors, and there are so many restrictions with regards to companies. Unlike with business, you can put up anytime and not much requirement, even on taxation part. Okay? All right, so let's skip that. Okay, shareholders' rights. We have two types of or major types of shares. We have ordinary shares and preference shares. We talk about preference shares. They are preferred as assets. When liquidation happens, they are the first one to be given assets compared with other shareholders. And at the same time, if there will be share in income, which is dividend, they are the priority, which means they will be able to receive it. Okay, before the ordinary shareholders receive it. Now, the ordinary shareholders are different in a way they have what we call voting rights. Or generally, they can vote on what major business decisions should be done. Okay? So when you talk about 30% ownership, 50% ownership, we're talking about ordinary shares. And that determines who will be able to have control or influence over the decisions of the board of directors within the company. Okay? Of course, all the shareholders have the rights to receive dividends. They have the right to vote, but again, ordinary shareholders, they have the control on major decisions. Preference shares, there are certain rights to vote, but not like the ordinary shareholders. Okay. Of course, in accounting, we will focus on what things will be reflected in the journal and ledger. Okay. So the first one is what we call share issues. So when you are saying share issues, it talks about companies selling their shares or the certificate of ownership to individuals or entities. So when they sell it, they either receive generally cash or sometimes they can receive also maybe property. Okay? So in that case, us as an accountant, we need to record that. The receipt of cash is debit, of course, debit cash. Then credit, maybe we need to know which share they issue. Is it ordinary share or preference share? Okay. There are different ways of issuing private placement and public issue. Public issue is easy to know. This happens when you sell your shares, of course, open to the public, most likely on the stock market. Okay? So when you sell shares or the company sells shares on the stock market, so that's what we call public issue. Private issue is where you ask someone, maybe a bank, to sell shares. Okay? So that's what we call private placement. So our focus will be on the private placement. Take note that that's our focus on the discussion. Of course, you need to know how much is the issue price. Okay, so issue price means that's how much you are selling, okay, your shares. And included in issue price will be, of course, other than the value of the company, possible or anticipated profits. That's why before declaring dividends, okay, or even after declaring dividends, but not yet on what you already record, which means they haven't recorded who will receive the dividends. So they declare dividends, they will say we will pay this dividend on this individuals on certain period. The price of the share usually goes up. Why? Because that is including the dividends. So when they purchase a share, they will be entitled to receive the dividends. But if the dividends already distributed, usually the price will go down. Okay? Why? Because there is no dividend anyway. State of economy that also affects the issue price. That's why when you heard about that issue on tariffs and they thought that the US will have like depression, will go to depression, economic depression or recession. The stock market actually had fallen down for several days. That actually affects prices, okay? Because that is the forecast of the investors that the particular tariffs might affect the economy. Okay, so that is the best example of how the state or the economy can affect share prices. Okay? All right, so if you are issuing through private placement, it's the journal entry, which is primarily our focus on this discussion. Okay, so issue it, debit cash, credit share capital. Take note. Take note. Normally, in record keeping, we put distinction about that share capital. If we are issuing ordinary share, what we do is we credit share capital dash, then we will state if it is ordinary share or preference share to get the distinction. Okay, so clear on how it works normally in companies. Okay, when you're doing records, you need to distinguish it because remember there are different because of the difference on the privileges and rights of preference shareholders and ordinary shareholders. You need to distinguish this. Okay, but of course in our discussion, I will not be so specific on that. Okay, if you say share capital, I understood what you're trying to say. Okay. Now, public issue, I was in the requirement, I was actually advised not to discuss so much on this because anyway we will discuss it in financial reporting. Okay. So I'll skip this. Now, share splits. Share splits happens when you are holding a share and the board of directors decided to either divide it into two or merge it. Okay, we call it reverse split. Reverse split happens when you have like 10 shares, then the board of directors said make it 5. That is what we call share split. Okay? The normal share split will be, of course, if you have 1 share, you make it 2 or 3, depending on the decision. Okay? But the problem is that it's not requiring any journal entry. Why? Because even if you split the shares into 2, the value in total will be the same. Okay, so in this example, this says 2 for 1 split, so it means the 1 share will have a value of $10 before. If they made 2 shares each, that share will only cost you $5 each. Here on share split, okay, that's what it meant about share split. Reverse split, just the reverse. Most likely, you will discuss that in your master's in professional accounting. So I will not really dig deeper on that. Okay. Most important discussion amongst the share issues will be dividends. Okay. Dividends, take note, is where the company declared part of their income to be provided to the shareholders. What usually happens is that and you will be able to discuss this in business finance or any finance unit. The income is so-called like internal financing. So what happens is that instead of distributing that income, you can keep it as a company and then you can use that so-called money for your future expansion, future operation. Right? So instead of paying those, why don't you just keep some of the money and then use it? Right? But of course, the owners will not like it. Right? If you are the investor, you want returns, right? So they will be forced to pay what we call dividends. It's a part of the income distributed to the owners, okay, and there will be part of that that will be kept by the owners. Okay, we have different types of dividends. Cash, property, and shares. Later we'll discuss details of that. We have two types of dividends in public companies, final and interim dividend. Okay? So cash dividend is obvious, but you're distributing it is cash. So you have to get cash. Okay? So as a company, you are distributing cash, so you will use the cash, credit cash. That's basic, okay? So the journal entry will be like this. So first you declare, or the board of directors will declare that they will pay dividends. Take note, dividends will only be payable generally when board of directors declare it. If there is no declaration, there is no dividend payable. Okay, clear? So when they declare, debit retained earnings and then credit dividends payable, or simply they usually use the word dividends declared. Okay, dividends declared instead of retained earnings. But eventually, dividends declared will be close to retained earnings. So in case you will be, of course, in your work, most likely you will use the dividends declared. Okay, not the retained earnings. And then when you pay dividends payable, so dividends payable, credit cash. Okay. Simple on journal entries, later we will have some activity with that. Share dividends, on the other hand, they are distributing shares, but take note, it will not increase the value of your capital. It will only increase the number of your shares, similar to share split. So what will happen in share dividend is that instead of money, and maybe they don't have the money, the company doesn't have the money, they will declare share dividends. In that case, it will increase your right to claim dividends. But take note, it does not require any monetary payment. It will only increase the what? It will only increase the number of shares, but take note, it will only increase the number of shares, but it doesn't really increases your capital. Okay. What else do we have? Okay. So I think. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. This one, the last discussion, statement of comprehensive income, changes in equity. Okay. So we have covered statement of comprehensive income before. I'll focus on statement of changes in equity. So in statement of changes in equity, it will only show any changes happening to your capital, reserves, revaluations, and retained earnings. Retained earnings usually change when you have profit and you declare or the company has issued dividends. Retained earnings. Capital will only change when there are either you issue new shares, so it means it will increase, or you did share buyback. What is share buyback means? So the company will purchase their own shares from different shareholders, return back, so it will decrease the outstanding shares. Reserves, on the other hand, is just showing that you are trying to separate something from retained earnings and showing that or like giving a gesture that you are willing to fund that in the future. So share capital, I mentioned a while ago. By the way, this three will commonly appear in statement of changes in equity. Take note that they usually appear. There will be another one, evaluation, but commonly this three. Evaluation is the fourth one, okay? But that one we will deal with that in the activity. Share capital is the contributed equity, which means that is the basis of your ownership, or how much is the investment of the owner. Okay, reserves, as I mentioned to you, is it's something that you are setting up or segregating from the retained earnings just to make sure, okay, that you are showing that you are willing to pay on something. Okay, usually if you want to expand your plan, what you will do is to make sure that there's a separate like income. Okay, for that expansion, you put a reserve. Okay, it's not really a fund. Okay? Some will be confused about that. It's not really a fund, but just showing that the income that you have or you accumulated in that case, you're trying to separate it and ensuring that portion of income will not be declared as dividend, which means you will not be able to distribute cash over that income. Because the basis of your dividend will be on the retained earnings. If you don't have enough retained earnings, which is the accumulation of profits that you earned through the years, you cannot declare dividend. If you don't have enough retained earnings, you are not allowed to declare dividends. Generally, there are some exceptions, but in general, if you have negative retained earnings, we call it deficit, you are not allowed to declare dividend. Okay? Alright. So that's it for the discussion. We'll go on to the answer in this activity.